morning, partners, neighbors, residents, friends, all of you that are here today. What a beautiful morning to welcome you to the grand opening of Cadence Apartments. So I'm Becky Clark, CEO of Link Housing, and I'm honored to open the celebration today. These 63 units that we have here today have been conceived and lovingly built with the efforts of many of you, and that 62 of those are reserved for people that have been homeless or suffering from mental illness, also homeless. And we provide a place, a safe haven, that's going to have complete wraparound services so our residents will be able to thrive and fulfill sort of what dreams that they have. We do at Link provide those intensive case management services, and so we get to know our residents and just feel so connected with the work, and then that's where really the work starts. We open this today, and then from there move to being able to serve our mission. I can't stress and overstate the importance of our funding that we get to put together for these, and particularly the money that comes from LA City and LA County and the state of California. In 2016, Prop HHH was spearheaded by Mayor Garcetti and passed by the voters, providing for $1.2 billion in bonds for the development of the permanent supportive housing with these services that we have here today. In 2015, the Board of Supervisors created the Homeless Initiative, which is primarily funded through Measure H, which was a sales tax that many in Los Angeles County voted for, and that created a revenue stream so that we could provide these services. And I always appreciate the opportunity to share the opening of these housing developments. It really grounds me. This is what we do. This is why we do it. And we slave away sort of with all of the people on the team and all of our partners in the offices. And this gets us out, and it allows us to really meet the people and touch what we do. It's where where it comes to life, if you will. Some of the residents now feel blessed. They say not only do they have an apartment, but our Welcome Home program allows them to go into an apartment that's fully furnished and for them to feel like it's a home, not just a shell. These projects don't magically appear. As you all know, many of you working very hard on this, they require leadership and hard work by so many. You'll hear from many of the champions today that are on the program. So let me just start by acknowledging a few people up front, and then I'll turn this over to our MC, President of Link Housing, and we'll go from there. So first, I'd like to acknowledge some folks. I'm not sure that Jeanette is here. Oh, Jeanette, I don't know if you can raise your hand. I think you just came. I see you in the background. Jeanette Christian, from Senior Field Representative from Senator Feinstein's office. Thank you for being here. Araceli Ruvalcaba, Field Rep for Office of Congresswoman Nanette Berrigan. Are you here? Yep, there you are on the second floor. Thank you so much. And then Cheo Leslie, Field Representative for State Senator Stephen Bradford's office. I'm sure you might be here somewhere. It's up. You're pointing. Where are you pointing, Heather? All right, thank you so much. Gabby Medina, who's the district director from the office of Councilmember Joe Buscaino's Council District 15. Thank you so much. Good morning, Gabby. And then I just want to acknowledge, I don't think we have anyone here from Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office. They're unable to come at the last minute, but I want to acknowledge their leadership as well. Additionally, Tracy Mann, LA Community Development Agency Authority. I still get that wrong. I used to work for it, but it was before you changed names. And then really, I want to also recognize the leadership of our board of directors. We can't do this without the guidance, the steady hand and the knowledge and expertise of the members of our board. So I'm going to announce their names, and we can give everyone a warm round of applause. So I have Jeff Lee, Everett Orrick, Jill McCullough, John Given, Amber Scott, Bart McIntyre, and Tim McOsker. What a turnout. Thank you all. Thanks for everyone who's here today. And then I have one more important introduction. During the course of any new development, we work to build these relationships with our community leaders in our community. It's one of the many rewarding aspects that we have about working here. And over the years, we found that many of our church partners are such reliable supporters as part of the fabric of the community. The Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church, right across the street here, is one of those jewels. They've been so welcoming to us. They allowed us to use the lot that's immediately adjacent here as we were building this project, so we used it for staging. We have members that attend there, and residents that attend here. And we also just know that they will be an important partner as we move forward. So I would love to introduce Pastor Ed Robinson from the Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church to provide us with inspiration for the day.
Thank you very much, Becky. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Amen. So we're very happy to have an opportunity to do so. Let me begin by telling you just a real quick story. Story's told about a young man who didn't want to go to school, and his mother kept coming to his room and telling him, son, you need to get up and you need to go to school. And he didn't want to get up, and mother said, all right, I'm going to give you 15 minutes. So finally, Mary Garcetti, she comes back 15 minutes later and says, I told you to get up. He said, Mama, give me one good reason why I should go to school. She says, I gave you 3 good reasons. She said, first of all, because I told you to go to school. Second reason, because I'm your mama. And the third reason, you're 40 years old and you're the president. You're the principal. So I just want to say that we're very happy to be here this morning. I want to say to Congresswoman Maxine Waters and to Mayor Eric Garcetti, I want to thank you for your demonstrable political leadership and all that you're doing. To the entire Link board, to the staff, all of the ones that stand behind the scenes and make things happen. My name is Ed Robinson, and as was mentioned earlier, I'm from the Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church right across the street, and on behalf of our leadership team, which 3 of our board of trustees are here, Jackie King, who is the president of the board, Callie Parker, just wave your hand, Callie Parker is the secretary of the board, and then we also have Shirley Moore Cotton, who is the financial folks. So we want to welcome you to our community. And you know, if you don't know Becky and others, pastors love to tell stories. So there's another story about a young boy who was restless, and his mother kept telling him to sit down, and he didn't want to sit down. So finally, the mother gets the young man by the shoulders in, and she just sits down and said, sit down. And the little boy folded his arms, and he says, I might be sitting down on the outside, but I'm standing up in the inside. And why am I telling that story? Because I can only imagine what Link went through to bring this to fruition. Someone might have told Link to go sit down. They may have went through a whole lot of challenges and obstacles to bring this to fruition. And someone probably said, especially in the town of Watts, this will never work. Well, today I can say because of their patience, because of their perseverance, and because of their passion, Link is standing up on the outside today. Let's give them a round of applause for what they've done. Primarily, they have been the link, no pun intended, between hope and homes. And we're very grateful for that. And so we at Tabernacle of Faith, we stand to partner with you as well as with our residents to make sure that we are moving in the same direction. And so I want to say that I'm very grateful that Link has provided this opportunity for those who have been marginalized, those who have been, so to speak, disenfranchised. I want to say that to each and the residents that are here, you're always welcome to come and to visit one of our services. We meet every Sunday at 11 a.m. And so, you know, one thing they always say in public speaking, I grew up in the town of Watts. I live in the city of Compton, and I learned the 5 B's and boy principle, which simply means be brief, brother, be brief. So in closing, I just want to say to Mayor Eric Garcetti, to the city staff, to the city leaders of Los Angeles, thank you very much for your demonstrable support behind the scenes to help to bring the Cadence Housing project to our community. Let's give them a round of applause. There's a Brazilian proverb that says that when you dream alone, it's just a dream, but when you dream together, it is the beginning of a new reality. And certainly this is a new reality that is making a difference in the lives of men, women, boys, and girls. So again, I'm very grateful to have had an opportunity to provide some comments. And in closing, I'd just like to say that if we all join hands together, we can go twice as far. Thank you and God bless.
That's right. So amen to that, Pastor Robinson. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us into your community. My name is Suni Lei Chang. I am the president and COO of Link Housing, and I want to run the program today. As you can tell, this is a place with a lot of community, a lot of history. You're sitting right here on Central Avenue, which was the hub and the home and the heart of West Coast jazz. From the 1920s to the 1950s, you might have heard some of the soundtrack coming in. That's the soundtrack that ran up and down this street. You had nightclubs, you had dance halls that brought in the jazz greats. Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Mingus, Parker. You name it, they were here. They played here. In honor of the avenue, what we did was we said we would name, in honor of both the avenue and the project that we're opening today, we said, let's name this project Cadence. Cadence is an inflection point in music. In music, it tells you that the music is about to change, or that it signals the completion of a musical phrase or an idea. And just as a cadence marks a change in music, so too does moving into permanent supportive housing mark an inflection point in the life of an unhoused individual. It offers them life-saving, wraparound intensive case management services, independence, and a place to heal, recover, and build new lives. And as you'll hear from two of Link's residents, permanent supportive housing is a solution that works. It changes and can even save lives. And so if each of these 63 homes here reflects an inflection point, a cadence, if you will, then let's think about this beautiful building as a great jazz tune. So, for every great performance, you need a venue, and you need someone to set the stage for the performance. You need someone with money who can bring people to the venue and who can sell them on a vision. And I can think of no one who does that better than Congresswoman Maxine Waters. As chair of the Financial Services Committee, she finds the funds and makes sure that the affordable housing programs are at the center of every big spending negotiation in Washington. She's a consistent champion for a stronger housing safety net in this country, and her tireless advocacy has helped set the stage to build and fund the kinds of desperately needed affordable housing that we need throughout this country. So please join me in welcoming Chairwoman Waters.
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today, and I appreciate the invitation for the ribbon cutting. But I want you to know I've been here before. I'm nosy, and I stop, particularly when I see new buildings going up. So one day I stopped, and somebody let me in the front door. I don't want to say who it was. I don't want to get them in trouble. And I had an opportunity to talk with a receptionist who did not expect me and did not know why I was asking so many questions. But I left with her that I was just delighted and so pleased to see this building and this opportunity in Watts. Reapportionment just took place. It takes place every 10 years. At one time, I represented the whole Watts area. About 20 years ago, it was taken away. And so I've been moved toward the Bay Area. And of course, my district includes to the west side, Inglewood, all the way down through Torrance, including the cities of Hawthorne and Gardena and all of that. But with the new reapportionment, now I've been given all of Watts back again. And so I'm pleased to have the opportunity to reunite with some of the old friends, many of whom have improved their lives. Many are still waiting to improve their lives and to get some assistance and to get some help. This kind of development will do that. You will help change lives. For those who have the opportunity to be in one of these units, I want you to know how fortunate you are. There's not been a lot of new development in Watts. As a matter of fact, we have worked for many years to do everything that we could to secure the public housing so that people who had nowhere else to go would have someplace that was halfway safe and secure. But everyone has been looking forward to the opportunity to get into a new unit. Some of the people who are second and third generation in public housing are looking for opportunities. So I'm very pleased to be here with you today. And I thank you. And let me just share a few words with you. My thanks to you, Link, President and CEO, Ms. Chang, for that kind introduction. I'm so pleased to be able to join you for this grand opening of Cadence. I want to congratulate you on opening this beautiful building that will serve as a home for people experiencing homelessness and as a long-term community asset for Watts. I have witnessed the great work Link Housing has done in other areas of my district, including the opening of Fairview Heights apartments in Inglewood. The opening of Cadence represents a necessary step toward reaching our goal of ending homelessness and increasing the share of accessible housing in Los Angeles. I can't applaud you and your team enough on this huge accomplishment. I want to commend this project as a model for what Housing First can achieve. Cadence will serve as a stable home for people experiencing homelessness and will provide access to critical wraparound services to help residents thrive and get back on their feet. We have seen how successful we can be when Housing First is issued and used. Cadence is also a great example of how local and federal funds can work together to help solve big systemic problems. I understand that to finance and support Cadence, you relied heavily on federal funded housing choice vouchers as well as low-income housing tax credits. These are funding resources that I have provided through my votes and my advocacy as the chair of the Financial Services Committee of Congress. For example, I secured $5 billion in the American Rescue Plan to develop more permanent supportive housing, like Cadence, for people experiencing homelessness. The success of these resources is why I'm fighting so hard to deliver significant new federal resources to communities to build more fair and affordable housing like in this community. I authored the housing section of the Build Back Better Act, which will provide $150 billion in housing investments, including more than $30 billion to create or preserve affordable rental housing, as well as $24 billion for the new housing choice vouchers, which can be leveraged to support the development of more communities like this one. So again, I want to thank you for inviting me here today to celebrate the grand opening of Cadence and look forward to working with you to ensure many similar openings to come. You're right here next to WLCAC. WLCAC is a long-time project here in Watts, created by Ted Watkins, that's run by his son, Tim Watkins. They struggle very hard for everything. They have housing. They try and get money out of the city, the county, the federal government for all kinds of services. I know that they will be good neighbors for you, and I hope that you're able to work together on many of the efforts that you have started here. And so again, Watts will be a challenge, but it is a challenge that we can all meet. It is a challenge that I've learned about over the years. We have worked in this community with Nickerson Gardens, with Imperial Courts, with Jordan Downs, with Gonzague Village, and out of that, we've saved a lot of young people. We've lost a lot also. I've been to many funerals, but I've helped to develop youngsters who, when I started, were in gangs. I am pleased and proud to tell you that a couple of them in Nickerson Gardens, not too far from here, got jobs because we insisted that public housing hire them. They have been here for over 30 years. They will be retiring very soon, and they came out of gangs in this community. So I know what we can do if we put our minds to it. Housing First will change lives. Thank you so very much, Lynn.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for that. So at our last event, when you spoke, we honored you with a little photo because it was an artistic, remember that big mural?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful mural? Well,
Yes.
you're here at our property, which is music themed. And so I don't know if you've got the chops for this, but we have for you here a harmonica
Oh,
that
my
says Link Housing Cadence Grand Opening.
Wow.
And so I'm not going to ask you to play, but the next time I see you, we may need to like have a little something. So I want to say thank you.
Well,
on
thank
behalf
you,
of
and I
us
want you
here
to
at Link
know
Housing.
there's a gentleman who came from Watts who was a great harmonica player. He was harmonica Fats. If he was here, he'd be proud that you were presenting me with the harmonica.
Well,
Thank you.
fantastic.
And let me
I
give
wanna
you
give
this special certificate. On the occasion of the grand opening of Cadence, your 64-unit new permanent supportive housing community in Watts, California, I appreciate and commend your successful model for building attractive, desirable, and affordable apartment complexes with all of the support services for people experiencing homelessness. Best wish for continued success, service in the community. Build some more.
We
Right
will.
here.
Thank
We will
you.
give you all the
We will do
support
that.
that we
Thank
can
you
give you.
so much.
Thank you for the harmonica.
All
No, I
right,
can't
let's
play,
get
but I'll try.
Thank
Thank you, and
you.
thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your support.
All right.
Cadence.
Okay, so you're getting the sense of this. Okay, so what drives a great jazz tune is a great rhythm section. And I think it's wonderfully symbolic that our next speaker plays the piano, which is one of the most versatile instruments, but in a jazz band, it's part of the rhythm section, right? Sets the beat, drives the tempo, propels the forward momentum of a song, of a movement. And that is exactly what he's done. He has been relentless in his leadership to tackle housing affordability and homelessness. He has, besides championing new funding like HHH and Measure H, he has streamlined major new initiatives, especially for affordable housing projects like this one. That's what gets it done. The city of Los Angeles, under his leadership, has approved more new affordable housing in the last 5 years than it has in the last 30 years. And we continue to do that, and it's not enough. And so he has also led efforts for other jurisdictions to build more housing through a regional approach because it requires everyone to pitch in. His actions, his advocacy, and his vision for an inclusive Los Angeles so people from all backgrounds can call it home will be his enduring legacy as our great housing mayor. So please welcome, on keys, Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much. And I wish my mom was here to hear that introduction, but you know, she's at home today with my father. But thank you, Suni, for your incredible friendship. Thank you for bringing us together on this beautiful day. I hope everybody looks up in this courtyard, especially those of you underneath the umbrella, to see really what a beautiful reflection of this city at its best is. And one of those stars that reflects down on us all the time is none other than our representative, Maxine Waters. And we are so blessed, especially in a week like this that we've just lived through in America, where we wonder, what does America stand for anymore? What do we hold together? She is the glue that brings us together. Thank goodness there are not term limits in Washington, D.C., and thank goodness there are in Los Angeles, because this is at the end of my time as your mayor, but tomorrow will be my 9-year anniversary as your mayor. And I think about the journey that you have inspired for me, Congresswoman, the work that you have done to secure the funds. And I want people to pause for a minute, because when she said $150 billion in housing, those of us who have talked about this and worked in this area for a long time, she authored that in what is, together with the Congress and her leadership and this president's, the largest infrastructure package ever passed in American history. $150 billion deserves, I think, some more applause, because that will benefit for a long time what will come here. And thank you to Link, and I love the music metaphor that you have for this, because for the last 9 years I've had a piano to play jazz in my office between appointments. I was raised, both my grandparents, LA natives, met in New York State when they're at Eastman School of Music, both learning to become pianists. My mom is a pianist. My dad tried to be one for a little bit, or he took lessons, I should say. My sister played, and I've played my entire life. And you're exactly right. It's a fitting metaphor for what governance is, jazz in particular. You have to bring together a band. of a lot of different personalities and make them gel. And you have to practice a long time. There's rules, but then you got to break them all. And you have to figure out how to improvise and make something that makes music. My favorite on Central Avenue is Mingus. Charles Mingus is this mix of what LA is all about. He had Asian heritage, obviously African heritage, white heritage. He was born in, and some native heritage. He was born in Arizona, moved here in a city where we're a city of second and third and fourth chances, and he embodied Los Angeles. He was that bassist that drove the rhythm, but he was also a pianist. If you ever want to check out amazing music, before Keith Jarrett and others were doing kind of piano improvisation, Mingus did that. He has one album actually that's his piano music. And that's what it takes to raise the music, the village that we have around us here today. And it is the great leadership at the federal level of Maxine Waters. It's Rebecca and Suni here, this incredible board filled with friends that I've known now for decades, I can say that, with Jeff and John. And I want to thank Tim McCosker, who's on the board too, and crazy enough to be running for office, and we love you for doing that. Hopefully our next council member. Nancy Robles, the executive director of TCAC, executive director of SIDLAC. Those are confusing sounding things, but that's the credit at the state level. You have to put a sandwich together to build these, first with the federal funds, then with the state tax credits, then you go to the county, then you go to the city, then you go back to the feds for the vouchers, then you find the people, then you make sure they're enrolled to have some income so they can pay a portion of their income and rents, and then you go to a bank, thank you to Maria Joyce and Bank of America. When you put these pieces together, Kevin Kilbane, Raymond James, all these folks who have formed this, I guess it's more like an octet than a quartet, we finally are making beautiful music right here in Watts. And I'm glad, Pastor, that you started with Watts Up, because Watts is rising. You're exactly right, Maxine Waters. For too long, we didn't see enough. But now we're not only rehabbing and preserving public housing, we're expanding it for the first time. The biggest expansion west of the Mississippi of public housing right here in Jordan Downs. We're seeing environmental dollars flow here, designed by the community, saying, we want to plant trees, we want electric cars, we want bike lanes right here in Watts. That shouldn't just be in those rich areas on the west side or in San Fernando Valley. We're seeing youth and health be emphasized here, new businesses for the first time in a long time. So Watts really is rising. And in these public housing developments where we used to have a homicide a week sometimes, we're seeing a year go by sometimes without a single homicide, which speaks volumes about the public safety strategies and the investments in jobs, because nothing stops a bullet like a job, as we know. But I want to say one thing about housing, because right now it's a tough moment to walk through the city and to see people living in tents or in their cars, to see people struggling to get off the streets. And I know that our residents, who I want to thank for inviting us to your home today, embody that. It's not them and us, it's all us. There but for the grace of God go each one of us. And that struggle to transform and to be reborn and to see yourself, whether it's in an apartment or in a graduation, is what we are here to change. When I started as mayor, we were building about 300 units a year of permanent supportive housing. Just 300. So maybe once a quarter we'd come to an opening like this. This year we will build 2,000 plus units. Next year, 2,000 plus units. That's a more than six-fold increase. And you know what? We probably got to double that. So this fall, I hope you'll vote for the affordable housing measure that'll be on the ballot that'll help us make permanent some of these funding sources, because we can't go off a cliff 2 or 3 years from now just because we're bringing in Prop HHH 2 years earlier, 15,000 less per unit, with 1,000 more units than we promised. Don't believe some of the headlines or some of the reports you read. It's actually cheaper, faster, and more units than we promised. But we've got to keep that momentum going, because we've dug ourselves in a hole that took 50, 60 years of NIMBYism and defunding that we have to dig ourselves out of in a couple decades. And this, I hope, is the first decade of doing that. We need to continue that momentum. And for my successor, I would say you need to keep that going and double down. I want to thank the voters for making that happen, because they wonder when they vote for things, what does this look like? Well, it looks like this today. It looks like beautiful architecture that people will line up to saying, oh, this must be market rate housing. Can I get in here? We'll say, no, this is actually affordable housing. It means somebody who we've seen on the streets and maybe engaged with, or a family member who's fallen on tough times, suddenly being reborn and seeing a new life here. It's the way that they'll contribute back as tax-paying citizens, as folks who will then pay it forward and help as peer counselors or other things to make sure that they can talk to somebody who today feels like nobody can hear them, but tomorrow will be heard. And as we look at the work that remains before us, whether it's getting rid of red tape, whether it's the state helping us make sure that we don't have to go through environmental approvals anymore for projects like this, or city departments, and I want to thank each of the city departments, because when you go to planning, and then you go to building and safety, and engineering, and transportation, Department of Water and Power, to get every element of this done, you have prioritized affordable housing. We've cut by 120 days what those approvals look like. So nearly 4 months quicker, which means saving money and more to do as well. I'll close on this. You know, we had an opening 2 days ago of the Michelle and Barack Obama Recreation Center on now what is Obama Boulevard, where a young senator came in 2007. I was supporting him. I knew he was going to lose, but I thought he was a great guy and maybe in the future would run again. But he came to LA to put out a vision and to have the ambition of being the first black president in the United States of America. And he came there to the rec center, which is right next to Dorsey, where we've seen everybody from Sparky Anderson to Keyshawn Johnson use the facilities, on courts where the Williams sisters played and learned tennis, where we see young people and seniors now in the biggest pool anywhere in Los Angeles, a huge gymnasium, a Dodger Dream Field, a skate park. And we talked about how Los Angeles is holy and hallowed ground. Well, I want to say Watts is one of those places. It's bigger than Los Angeles. Watts is known in this country, and Watts is known in this world. Sometimes for our struggles here, but now I believe for the way that we are rebirthed, the way that we are reborn here, the way that we are taking something that was synonymous for many people with struggle and showing that it can be synonymous with belonging. This is a city where all of you belong, especially the residents in this new facility. It's a city of belonging that you own. And as your mayor, until my last day as mayor, and after that I'll have an even more dangerous title, constituent, please call on me. Let me know what you need and how we can continue your journey. And thank you to Link for just being angels in this city of angels. God bless you, and let's do more. Thank you so much.